So hari ni let's go back and forth. Kita bezakan apa yang berlaku di awal anak kita mendapat diagnosis dan apa yang berlaku sekarang dan bagaimana evolusi tu berlaku.
Tetapi satu kualiti yang saya rasa yang saya tidak ada 15 tahun lepas adalah the ability to cheer other children on and to listen to other children. Kita dibesarkan dalam environment that, the elders know it better, they know it all, and then you want to follow that route, kan? So I think for me, it's a complete change of mindset because I started listening to children. I started cheering on their smallest wins. And sometimes just by watching and listening, I learned something that would be applicable to my child or to life as a whole.
I think any parent who's been through a child having a meltdown in a public space, I think you will understand what I mean by being brave. And by being brave is doing this now. If Hans didn't make me brave, I would never be public speaking like this.
Hai, Assalamualaikum, selamat sejahtera. Selamat kembali ke podcast Kita Family. Hari ini kami merakamkan episod ke-87. Dalam podcast ini, kami akan membincangkan perihal yang berkaitan dengan makna serta kepentingan hidup bermasyarakat, menghargai keunikan serta kepelbagaian sesama kita dan meraihkan masyarakat kita yang berbilang agama, kaum, kepercayaan, rupa dan juga keupayaan. Kita menghargai hidup secara inklusif yang mengambil kira keperluan segenap lapisan masyarakat, terutama bagi mereka yang kurang atau berkelainan upaya. Hari ini, saya, Didi, dari Kota Kinabalu bersama dua podcasters dari lokasi yang berbeza. Pertama kita ada Desri. Hai Desri.
Hai.
Dari mana tu?
Saya di rumah hari ni di Shah Alam.
Dan di studio kita di Kuala Lumpur ada Anit. Hai Anit.
Hello, apa khabar? Saya berseorangan pada hari ini. Rasa sangat ajaib dan ganjil. Tak biasa kan?
Apa?
Selalu studio kan studio kan rio-rio.
Now you know how I feel.
Now I do know how you feel. Tapi Didi, ini episod ke-87 dari studio kan? Kalau termasuk episod-episod lain dah 90 lebih kan?
Ya, banyak dah. Dan kita dah melebihi tanggal 2 tahun. Dah 2 tahun anniversary pun kita dah sambut dah. So, we're still here. We're still cari lagi topik-topik untuk kita cover. Untuk kita membantu, memberi semangat. Kan? Kita nak bagi semangat. Kita nak share cerita kita dengan community especially ibu bapa kepada anak-anak neurodivergent. So, hari ni I think the past few episodes kita ada episod-episod yang agak serius dan juga episod yang lepas episod sangat istimewa. Episod yang dirakam secara langsung di hadapan penonton. Thank you Desri and Nori.
Ya, thank you. Dengan ahli-ahli perubatan ya. Itu adalah satu episod khas sangat.
Memang sangat unik.
Akhirnya KFM sampai ke KLCC.
KFM sampai KLCC. Wow.
Apa rasa Desri KFM di KLCC?
Wow, rasa macam surreal lah kan. Tak dapat bayang lepas 2 tahun we're still doing this, and topik dia pun sangat menarik. Dan bila saya beritahu kepada orang ramai, kawan-kawan lah that, Kita Family akan pergi untuk event ni which is related to sleep and oral hygiene, orang pun like, apa kaitannya? So kalau nak tahu apa kaitannya, tontonilah episod kami ya, di mana Nori dan saya telah membuat satu sesi di Smile, Sleep and Breathe event. So, watch that episode.
Ya, dan episod itu juga sangat khas sebab dalam episod itu anda dapat perhatikan that Desri ada ketidakupayaan sementara. Di studio hari ini tak nampak sangat. Tapi dengan episod itu nampak.
Yes. Absolutely. Dan juga Dino, dalam beberapa minggu ni saya sekarang ni tengah pakai cast di kaki sebelah kiri, below my knee. So memang it's been a very humbling journey for me lah kan. Dari seseorang yang laju je bawa kereta, lari sini lari sana, now I have to slow down. Sebenarnya I tak post apa-apa picture pun of myself, full picture of me on social media, sebab dah tahu ramai orang akan tanya what happened, what's going on. Memang tak ready at that point to share, right, my state of mind and how I was feeling. Memang I can say it now, I have a week and a half to go to pakai kas ni. To be honest, it's very hard. It's been very, very difficult for me. Tetapi saya juga bersyukur sebab banyak support dari keluarga di rumah dan rakan-rakan di luar. So when I need to go out, contohnya di KLCC, bila saya pergi untuk event tersebut, Nori telah membawa kerusi roda untuk saya. Because bukannya saya tak boleh jalan, boleh, tetapi jauh kan. By the time I jalan dari point A to point B, memang akan melambatkan semua orang. So it's easier to go in the wheelchair, and I am very pleasantly surprised that Malaysians are very kind. Sesiapa yang lihat saya jalan dengan kas, dengan my tongkat, I refuse to use the crutches. Saya guna tongkat ibu saya. They actually come up front to help me, and memang saya sangat bersyukur lah. I can confirm we Malaysians are very kind people. So thank you. Anyway, let's get on with our topic for today. Didi, over to you.
Okay, rasa rindu sangat dengan you all, walaupun sebenarnya tak sampai seminggu yang lalu saya kembali ke Kuala Lumpur dan berjumpa dan spend masa yang agak panjang lah kali ni dengan berlima, kita semua berlima, dan kita semua telah pergi ke satu workshop yang nanti satu hari nanti kita akan share kan pengalaman kita pergi belajar bersama. Dan satu perkara yang membuatkan saya terfikir tentang topik hari ini ialah kerana workshop yang kita hadiri minggu lepas adalah satu kesinambungan kepada satu workshop yang saya hadiri 10 tahun yang lalu. So macam speaker yang sama, topik yang hampir serupa, maksudnya kesinambungan lah kan, sambungan lagi kepada topik tersebut. Jadi saya rasa kita sebagai ibu-ibu ni kan, yang telah lama, tadi saya dah catat dah dekat sini, Anit sudah lebih 15 tahun, saya lebih 14 tahun, dan Desiree lebih 8 tahun sudah mendapat title Autism Mother. Maksudnya anak-anak kami mendapat diagnosis autism, dan ada perkara-perkara yang kita buat dahulu ketika anak kita perlu diagnose, masih lagi kita buat sekarang, dan of course ada yang berbeza sangat-sangat. Tapi kita nak berkongsi sebab I'm sure ramai parents yang anak baru setahun 2 diagnose kan, dia tak dapat bayang lagi macam mana keadaan bila anak dah meningkat dewasa, dalam tempoh remaja. Adakah masih perlukan sokongan yang sama macam sebelum masuk ke alam persekolahan? All this EIP, all this terapi, adakah terapi perlu lebih kerap, adakah masih perlu pergi ke hospital? So hari ni let's go back and forth, kita bezakan apa yang berlaku di awal anak kita mendapat diagnosis dan apa yang berlaku sekarang, dan bagaimana evolusi tu berlaku. Boleh mulakan dengan Anit.
To me the biggest difference is I tak boleh dukung dia, I tak boleh extract dia daripada satu tempat ke tempat yang lain. Bila dapat diagnosis tu, kalau that space is not good for him, all I need to do is angkat, bawa lari.
Betul,
sekarang,
scoop je.
Okay. I think it's something that all parents go through. Bila anak kecil, lebih senang untuk tukar hala arahan, tukar hala tuju. Physically. But now he's taller than me, he's bigger than me. I think kalau dia nak punch tu, dia I yang akan tergolek, bukan dia. So the size firstly is different, but there are some things that are the same that will not change, because one of the first things I was advised was to start a routine, sebab anak-anak ini perlukan rutin, dan sampai sekarang dia ada rutin dia sebelum tidur, bila dia bangun, cara dia nak letak pakaian dia, berapa lama dia akan guna untuk bersedia untuk mandi. Sebab kalau anak neurodivergent ni, kalau kita nak cepating them using Didi's word, mempercepatkan dalam masa-masa kecemasan kepada kami, kita nak hurry up tu. Kalau mereka tak bersedia untuk hurry up, sampai sekarang, you boleh cubalah apa yang you nak. Dia akan lambatkan proses tu juga. So, the same thing about setting a routine, and kalau ada any change in routine, to bagi tahu awal, bagi dia prep that tomorrow is going to be different, tomorrow this is what you have to do, tomorrow you are going to have an earlier start. Masih sangat efektif pada hari ini, masih perlu dibuat.
Tapi masih perlu buat social story ataupun you hantar WhatsApp reminder ke, macam mana tu?
Kadang-kadang perlu buat social story. Misalnya bulan November itu kami telah sebagai satu family pergi ke India, ke Punjab untuk 4 hari sahaja. Mula-mula dia tak nak sebab dia kata too short, and dia kata dia nak stay back. Kata okay. Tapi lepas tu dipujuklah oleh adik-adik dia. Takkanlah tak pergi, kita semua nak pergi. So dia datang balik untuk nego. Dia tanya, okay, so if I go, what are we going to do? What airline are we taking? What time do we leave? What time do we arrive? Where are we staying? What room will I have? Will I have my rest time? So bila dia minta, saya perlu buatkan satu jadual. So saya duduk, saya lukiskan satu jadual dan saya bagi tahu, okay, hari pertama ini adalah tentatif lah jadual. Hari pertama, hari kedua, hari ketiga. Dan saya tanya balik, okay, pada you nak makan apa? Mungkin kita boleh carikan tempat yang ada makanan kegemaran dia juga, supaya dia rasa included in the trip. So kalau dia kata dia nak butter chicken yang terbaik, okay, kita lah carilah mana dapat butter chicken. So we put that in as well. And then so setiap hari I notice dia bawa schedule tu, dia akan tick. Sebab saya cakap juga, we are going to the Golden Temple, we're going to the border. So dia kata, are we going to the border next? What time are we going to the border? So tomorrow morning, what time do we wake up? And bila dah tunjuk secara visual dan dibuat persediaan awal, memang dia boleh ikut. So that whole routine and the preparation still works till today. I cannot emphasize how much it's so important. So kalau ada a change, perlu guna perkataan. Okay, Nirav, there is going to be a change, and this is the change, and kita bagi tahu kenapa. Then dia, okay, there's going to be a change. So how are we changing it? So bila ditanya balik, kita ulang balik lah macam mana kita nak tukar and kenapa kita nak tukar.
It's just like, I think Desiree was with me and SK in the episode when kids say no.
Yes.
Kids say no, tapi sebenarnya bukannya absolute no. Dia perlukan lebih information. Kan? So I think that's what. And you also macam menunjukkan that level of precision and then thoughtfulness, like everything kena betul-betul fikir, bukan macam go with the flow. Tengoklah nanti kita pergi je lah mana-mana that we fancy to go. So a lot of preparation, organisation as well, kan, which memang daripada kecil pun kita dah nampak mereka perlu, dan sebenarnya sampai meningkat remaja pun perlu digunakan untuk mendapatkan satu percutian yang harmoni.
And memang kalau bagi makanan kegemaran dan mereka dah berpuas hati, lepas tu you boleh tukar plan. Memang boleh. Kan? Sebab mereka dah gembira. Dan lepas tu kalau ajak buat benda yang not in the plan pun, mereka lebih open to that idea dan daripada bila mereka bad mood ataupun things don't go according to the routine.
I think kita as parents pun ada radar kan, macam rasa ini kita boleh ni, nampak macam time yang kita boleh tarik tali, boleh challenge their flexibility. It's always there kan, macam kita macam gauge their limit at that time. Boleh ni, we try lah.
So if I'm also comparing the last trip that he went, because to the same place, that was 2018 till New Year's Day 2019. So dah berapa lama dah to 2025, 6 tahun kot. Masa tu dia lebih struggle dengan firstly because we went around winter time, so dia lebih struggle dengan cuaca and the cold, and dia lebih struggle dealing with the crowds because I took him to a country that there are crowds everywhere. So he did struggle the first time and needed more shielding, but he was smaller and we could get away with more because he was smaller and he was a kid. Tapi sekarang dah besar, teruna, dan nak bagi alasan kepada orang pun susah kan. Jadi I notice his tolerance for crowds has definitely got better and there is improvement. So saya sujudlah dengan kesyukuran yang amat mendalam that, you know, there has been some improvement. So sometimes I guess after all these years, it's you learn from your first trip or you learn from your first trip to any place, and in each trip when it gets better, you can chart the improvement. And what you need to do, mungkin kali pertama kena bawa makanan, kena bawa minuman, then you can drop it. Mereka mungkin ada the next time tempat yang sama, mungkin ada tempat yang sesuai untuk membeli makanan dan minuman yang sama untuk anak yang sama, and pengalaman dia juga berlainan. So that's the evolution. Tapi perlu ada persiapan, tapi tahap persiapan itu mungkin berbeza.
Dan kita tak takut untuk cuba lagi rather than macam terus trauma dan tak nak buat dah. Kan?
Ya. Tapi Didi, saya 15 tahun, Didi dah 14 tahun. So, what is it that still is the same for you?
The same. Still lagi hantar pergi terapi, tapi ada juga yang online, macam talk therapy we can do online lah. Kalau movement tu pergi center, cuma yang berbeza anak saya 2 orang kan. Kalau dulu saya akan hantar tempat yang sama, mereka pergi sekolah yang sama, kalau perlu terapi di tempat yang sama, jadi sekali hantar je. Tapi sekarang mereka pergi ke sekolah yang berbeza, terapi pun berbeza, jadi lebih letih sikit lah, sebab tempat berbeza kan. Walaupun Kota Kinabalu ni tidaklah sesak KL. Kalau KL tu mungkin lagi jauh-jauh and then dengan jam lagi. So yang ni tak jauh sangat, tapi still macam petang tadi untuk ambil mereka daripada 2 habis kelas. Lama juga lepas ambil Amy pukul 3.45, lepas tu pergi ambil Afia sampai rumah 5.30 juga baru sampai rumah. Walaupun KK tu kecil je kan. So still a lot of driving, yang tu yang sama. Kemudian dari segi kalau in life kan, kalau macam dulu, ingat lagi anak saya nak pergi gunting rambut tu takut sangat sebab dia tak suka bunyi hair dryer, hand dryer pun dia takut. Jadi kalau dulu kita mulakan dengan pergi kedai-kedai gunting rambut waktu weekday, tak ada orang. Memang nampak ni tempat ni tak ada orang ni. And then saya pastikan jangan pakai hair dryer sebab dia takut. So okay, slow-slow gunting rambut semua. Dan happy to say that now kami boleh pergi bertiga. Tiga-tiga orang pergi sekali hair salon, shampoo rambut, gunting rambut, and then tak kisah orang lain pakai hair dryer. And then kadang-kadang dia sendiri pun datang bila lepas mandi kan, macam nak keringkan rambut, bawakan hair dryer, minta tolong mama gunakan on her. It's macam bila nampak kami bertiga ni kan gunting rambut, rasa macam macam dah jauh perjalanan kan daripada dulu tak boleh. And I remember sebab takut sangat kan nak gunting rambut ni, yang si kakak ni saya gunting rambut sendiri kat rumah guna di dalam bilik air guna gunting kan. Sampai kat adik dia lebih berani lah. Adik dia cakap, no mama, no, nak pergi kedai gunting rambut juga sebab dia nak rambut dia lagi cantik. Sebab yalah, kalau mama gunting terhad lah kan dia punya fashion dia. Itu yang perubahan yang besar lah. Tapi dari segi kekerapan terapi tu taklah sekerap dulu. And also banyak macam kalau dulu I still remember I cakap dengan kita punya speaker workshop yang kita pergi last week kan. I cakap dengan dia 10 years ago, I said my kids connected better with the therapist than to me. Tahu, masa tu rasa macam not a nice feeling, nice things to say, but that's really how I felt. But hari ni I boleh cakap macam bila budak-budak ni kan bila pindah tukar terapis apa semua, they are okay with me. Maksudnya we are better connected. Kalau tak jumpa terapis pun tak apa. Memanglah ada time-time tu kadang-kadang macam crisis kan, macam I want to go see my therapist now. Tapi macam ada juga half of the time macam okay mama I need you. So taklah macam dulu kalau tak pergi terapi, you can see that they are very dysregulated. Now mama is here to co-regulate them as well. So the transition, the differences are definitely banyak lah. So now Desiree, how is it different from like over 8 years ago dengan sekarang?
Wow, it's like for me it's very very different. Sebab Hans memang masa umur 2 tahun dia dapat diagnosis awal, and he had all the classic signs and symptoms that you would read about on Google. Bila kita Google kan, what is autism? First thing that comes out, flapping, spinning, inflexible, picky eating, semua ada tick, right? So he checked most of the boxes. Memang tak boleh dibawa ke tempat yang dia tak kenal or dia tak pernah pergi, right? And similar to Anit's experience dengan Nirav masa kecil, at that point of time, as you said, boleh je angkat. I can carry you and whisk you away, kan? So bezanya sekarang memang tak boleh. But at the same time, at this point, memang dengan sangat bersyukur, I'm going to say this sentence, tak perlu pun untuk angkat dia out of any situation. Sebab we are in a space now where sekiranya I see, okay, he needs to be taken out of a certain situation, or the father sees he needs to be taken out of a situation, kita boleh je, before it gets to a point where, his brain shuts down, we can already say, okay Hans, come, let's go. Sebab one of the things that we did along the way was, memang kita ada exit strategy. Mana ke mana kita pergi pun, katakanlah event ke, upacara, apa-apa, perkahwinan ke, or whether it's a birthday celebration of family ke, memang there's always an exit plan. Yeah, so by doing that, I think Hans pun rasa macam, okay, as long as he is with his safe people, dia tahulah that, we can make an exit anytime. And at the same time, kita pun kena pandai lah. I think pernah kan kita share bila kita keluar mana-mana, especially for our raya videos, ada pernah kita buat, don't forget benda-benda that brings them calm. So these are the things that will always stay. I think you will always be there. Yang tu memang takkan berubah. Kita akan bawa ke mana-mana. But maybe the items might change over time. Kan, dari maybe yang masa kecil Hans was with his pacifier sampai umur 7 tahun. Right? So that one memang dalam Black Desert masa tu I think at least 4 or 5 pacifiers at any point of time. Takut kan? Jatuh satu ada lagi satu. Jatuh satu ada lagi satu. So that was one of it. And the other part which baru-baru ni saya pun terimbas kembali. There are certain routes kan bila kita bawa kereta, especially pergi when it's a routine route, when we drive the car, sebab visual memory dia very good, even at 3 years old dia tahu. Tetapi katakanlah kadang-kadang jam kan, so Waze will say belok kiri instead of kanan, dia tak boleh terima. He will literally have a meltdown in the car, right? Kicking and screaming and shouting, dia tak boleh terima. But over time, saya pun pernah share teknik ni dalam in our WhatsApp group. Pula. I shared this in our podcast. That's I would narrate our journey to say, I'm turning left, I'm turning right. Lepas tu I on Waze kan, suara Waze to tell him where we're going. So sekarang ni masuk kereta pergi mana pun he's fine. He's absolutely fine. And for me, I think one of the biggest things in the beginning lah, I remember the biggest turning point for us, because at 2 years plus, dia tak boleh pegang botol susu to drink on his own. And within that 6 months of occupational therapy, dia boleh. So that was the first, I think for me, for us, our family, that was the start. And bila dah nampak perubahan tu, it gave us that hope and that motivation to berterusan. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, this specific example is kalau lah ada parents yang sekarang baru dapat diagnosis anak, it can be quite daunting. Memang sekarang you might feel that my world is ending, this is so hard. I want to acknowledge, yes, memang susah. Ini memang susah. It will get easier, but the challenges will always be there. Tetapi find that one point that's going to motivate you. And for me, it was benda kecil that motivated me to today. So every time I feel like I want to lose hope now, I think back, actually Hans, it took 6 months for him of OT to be able to pegang botol susu. But in the end, he could do it. It's just that dia ambil masa yang lebih lama compared to orang lain.
And actually, Desiree, what I noticed about Hans, and I've only known him for like 2 years plus, is he now responds to your voice commands better.
Yes, he does. So I made it a habit. So sebenarnya saya tak guna banyak social story tau. Even sampai sekarang, saya become across as ibu yang rajin, tapi Desiree tak rajin sangat tau. Walaupun dah beli laminator, beria-ia sangat nak laminate social story, tapi mereka yang buat social story dengan Hans adalah cikgu-cikgu dia. Ibu ni macam malas sikit nak buat dekat rumah. So I have always made it a habit to narrate things to him. Sebab saya tahu bahawa dia faham. Walaupun dia tak boleh bercakap in words, now he of course has the AAC device to tell us what he needs or what he wants. Tapi I have always made it a habit to use my voice. First, it started out of convenience. Then later, I also realized that, and this is in no way am I saying that social stories are not important. It's very important. Please do it if you can and when you can. Tapi for me, I felt that kadang-kadang, what if I terlupa bawa benda tu? So my voice is a constant. And the other thing that always calmed him down was singing nursery rhymes kan. So that was also something. So that's where I started actually. That's where I started realizing the power of my spoken words or whatever I said. Because benda ni, my voice, I boleh bawa ke mana-mana je. Kalau phone tak ada, it's okay, I sing the song for you. Salah pun tak apa. At least, if kalau salah, he will tell me, no, not this song, I want the other song. So it's become a habit to narrate things to him.
Okay, I've got one question. From the beginning of the journey to now, I know that our journey is still a long way away. What is that one quality that you feel you have achieved which the younger you didn't have?
to be
Loaded
brave.
question. I know. Sorry.
It's I was just talking about it the other day with my mom actually. So I was explaining to her how with now being a mother of two, and Hans is going to be 11 and my daughter is going to be 2 at the end of this year. Both of them have changed me in very profound ways and in very special ways. And with Hans, it made me brave. It made me brave to just allow him to be himself and not care about the world. I mean, not to say not care about the world, but to be brave. I think any parent who's been through a child having a meltdown in a public space, I think you will understand what I mean by being brave. And by being brave is doing this now. If Hans didn't make me brave, I would never be public speaking like this because I have huge stage fright, right? But he made me brave because I felt that, I had a story to tell and only I could tell our story. And with my daughter, I feel she gave me courage because the courage, and it's different. Bravery and courage to me is different. Courage is actually taking a stand, So bila jadi ibu semula, bila umur dah menjangkau 40-an, with that bravery, I then got the courage to just, take a stand. If I think it's right, it's right. It doesn't matter if the whole world thinks I'm wrong. I'm going to take that stand. So, you asked for one, I gave you two. loaded answer also.
Didi.
For me, to be sabar, to be less reactive. Of course, react, but reacting more positively rather than being snappy, marah-marah. Because we learn from experience kan, bila anak tantrum, mak dia pun tantrum, things will just jadi lagi lambat nak settle. So now I learn to take care of myself, so I have a bigger capacity untuk menjadi sabar sebab the challenges memang tak tahu tiba-tiba je. I thought hari ni macam cool je, tak ada apa masalah. Bam, someone have a meltdown. So macam Desri cakap, berani dan tak malu in a way that macam bila anak and also focus bila ada crisis. So bila anak meltdown, so the focus tu memang kita bukannya ada macam SOP yang tertulis betul-betul, but then our reaction tu macam as if kita ada SOP. We keep the child safe, make sure tak ada benda-benda bahaya keliling dia, kita boleh shut off all the, I'm sure orang mesti tengok-tengok, tapi kita shut off sebab kita nak fokus ke anak kita. Also controlling our own emotion, managing our own emotion, sebab kalau kita gelabah-gelabah apa semua, anak kita can really feel it, which is not easy. It takes many years of training nak jadi okay. Kalau I'm sure mula-mula dulu rasa malu, rasa bersalah, rasa malang kan, macam why this happen to me, why now, rasa gelabah, takut, macam-macam kan. So those sabar dan the reaction kan, itu I think I can say that I'm very proud of myself like dah sampai level tu, but also thankful to be here in Sabah, which I cannot say enough how supportive, how understanding people in KK, like definitely better than KL. It shows that macam I'm not sure whether the understanding or the awareness of autism is bigger here or not compared to KL, but you don't need to have a label on your forehead saying that, you're autistic, or what are the list of accommodation that you need. But seeing a mother and child in distress and being supportive kan, rasa macam sangat bersyukur, sangat happy dengan situation di sini. So lagi rasa tak jemu belajar, and belajar ni bukan belajar tu daripada expert sahaja. Kalau dulu of course kita belajar daripada OT, kita belajar daripada all this pensyarah ke speakers kan, expert in their professions. Tapi now belajar daripada anak-anak sendiri, really listen to them. macam ni macam kan kita ada satu topik yang dah KIV for a few episodes kan, big feelings. They're like, when are we going to talk about, but not today. But of course I've talked to them like asking them, and then today I tanya lah because in case we wanted to talk about big feelings, so I tanya when you had big feelings, how did you feel afterwards? And what Amy said to me just petang tadi, dia cakap, I felt guilty and I felt regret. So those are the things kan, kalau kita tak belajar, kita tak pernah cuba untuk faham, kita hanya nak marah je. Kita rasa macam you throwing tantrum, you sengaja throw tantrum, you nak menyusahkan mama. But now that we've learned so much kan, we know that big emotions is not sesuatu yang disengajakan lah. And they also already feeling bad. Itu belum lagi mama membebel, mama marah, mama list out consequences. This is your punishment for throwing tantrum at school. So learn, belajar dan belajar. Tu I think would change me lah, because I think if I were to have typical kids, mungkin belajar lah parenting issues like this, but not as detailed as what we are all doing now. So untuk menutup,
So Didi is 3 already.
We need to take a break. So I nak summarize what we have talked in this first part. So the development of our children, our neurodivergent children, development because of the time kan, dengan masa, dengan kita dah hantar pergi terapi, pergi sekolah tu, adalah development pada anak-anak kita. Tetapi bukan hanya pada mereka, sangat terbukti even kita semua ni pun telah develop. Kita pun dah ada strategi, kita pun dah ada lebih banyak ilmu, kita lebih bersedia, kita pun dah improve. Hopefully a lot better version of ourselves compared to 10 years ago kan. So with that, let's take a break and we see you after this.
I akan cakap I punya quality after the break ya, sebab tidak diberi peluang
after
tadi.
the break.
Okay.
Lepas tu kita bagi I need lead second part. Okay.
See you later.
See ya.
Hello, selamat kembali ke episod ke-87 Kita Family Podcast. Sebelum break tadi, saya tak sempat memberi pendapat saya. So, sekarang saya nak luahkan perasaan saya berkenaan
sorry.
yang
Toilet break, sorry.
Nature
berkenaan
calls.
apakah satu quality. Sebab I agree with all my adik-adik. Semua quality yang dia cakap memang semua adalah applicable to me. Tetapi satu quality yang saya rasa yang saya tidak ada 15 tahun lepas adalah the ability to cheer other children on and to listen to other children. Kita dibesarkan dalam environment that, you know, the elders know it better, they know it all, and then you want to follow that route kan. So I think for me it's a complete change of mindset, because I started listening to children, I started cheering on their smallest wins, and sometimes just by watching and listening, I learned something that would be applicable to my child or to life as a whole, and I am very grateful for that skill. I don't think if I was a mother of just neurotypicals, I would have that ability to berbesar hati dan to dapatkan pendapat orang yang kurang matang ataupun lebih kecil, and I think children have a lot to teach you. So to me, I am very grateful and thankful for that skill that I now enjoy. So kadang-kadang I know I cakap banyak dengan budak kecil, tapi they can teach you some things that you don't know. And sometimes just watching neurodivergence will also teach you some things about them that may be applicable. So that's my story. Tak exciting pun kan? Okay. next topic. We also want to
like, no, it shows bukan you je tau. I'm looking at your daughter pun like teaching us a lot. Like how it's not just you.
Oh,
I
yes.
think kan, looking at Sahana, I think she had learned a lot as well from like other, and then how she's like boleh dengan anak-anak yang neurodivergent pun dia boleh berkawan. So nice. So not just you also impart it to your children.
Yeah, I think the osmosis kan proses dia. So for the last part of this chit chat, we want to talk a little bit about the hidden emotional journey of parents of neurodivergence or disabled themselves. What is it about the hidden emotional journey that probably drives the children, or does it, macam mana nak cakap dia menjadi pendorong ataupun penghalang? Ada tak make sense soalan tu?
So are
okay,
you
Desri nodded, she's
helping
gonna
it along
start.
here? Oh wow, lama.
Dia nampak muka Didi blur like macam
Kan Didi muka blur. Desri kata nodding. Okay, dia tahu.
Okay.
That's it. Let's go.
You know, okay, so let me just defend myself now to our resident lawyer. Sometimes nodding, when I nod, it doesn't mean I agree or understand. I'm trying to process. So my brain is processing. No, but I think I get what you were saying. So dalam perjalanan dengan seseorang yang neurodivergent, for example, adakah seseorang itu menjadi pendorong, right, to help them along, or is there any areas di mana kita lah dengan tidak sedar ke dengan sedar terjadi penghalang kepada kebolehan mereka? Is that what you were trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a way, right? Okay, so I'll give my example. Memang ada in terms of menjadi penghalang. Actually, I have an example dengan Hans. So di mana I think sekarang banyak kali pun Desri telah share, sekarang ni Hans menggunakan AAC device untuk berkomunikasi. Tetapi untuk masa yang sangat panjang, Desri beranggap bahawa Hans ni sebenarnya boleh bercakap. Tapi dia tak nak. I had that perception for the longest time, and I will still say it till today. That is one of my biggest regrets, because saya tidak menerima hakikat tersebut. I think maybe that was my form of denial. Kan bila saya ceritakan perjalanan saya dan suami saya dengan Hans, kami berdua memang tak ada denial towards the autism. Memang kita menerima dan terus went into action mode. Dan apa-apa perasaan marah pun bukan sebab Hans autistik, tetapi sebab kita tidak tahu macam mana membantunya. But that one thing, the ability to talk kepada kita memang sangat penting. You know, so memang bila ditanya tentang AAC device, even PACS, saya tak pernah guna PACS di rumah. Sampai sekarang pun tak guna PACS di rumah. Hans hanya menggunakan PACS di terapi dan di sekolah or di EIP. So that is one area saya rasa saya telah menjadi penghalang kepada anak saya. Tetapi bila telah bertemu dengan seorang speech therapist, I can mention her, Esther. Thank you very much. She actually sat me down and told me, look, it is something called apraxia of speech, and you know, you need to give him a way to communicate, and sometimes it takes another person to nudge you along. And in that case, for me, that was Esther. And you know, we still really sayang her, although we don't go for sessions with her anymore. But she got us started on the AAC device, dan dia juga memberi saya dorongan dan the confidence to get started. Dan memang bab AAC ni, we still have a very long way to go. It's not easy. The outcome, of course, outweighs everything else lah. So kadang-kadang Hans pun mengejutkan kita dengan benda-benda yang dia sebut dalam AAC tu. So it's been a very humbling journey. So dalam situasi tersebut memang saya telah menjadi penghalang kepada anak saya. So I hope that was the question that you were asking.
Yes, I've got a different question for Didi though. Sorry.
Okay, go for it.
So Didi, we're talking about our journey. Yours has been 14 years, and Desiree has had her shorter journey. So, what did you think in organizing the ecosystem of the house? And I say this with all honesty. Didi ni jenis center point tau kat rumah dia. Dia ada dua anak neurodivergent. Tapi the center point of that house is Didi. So, Didi, saya nak Didi ceritakan sikit macam mana menjadi titik permulaan ataupun titik tumpuan ke semua sistem dalam rumah yang menjadikan pendorong ataupun penghalang ke macam mana? So it's a different connotation to the same question. Boleh? Okay, yang ni Didi is nodding, so she knows.
Nak kata like I yang lead the house pun tak jugalah, because of course my husband has his roles, but very thankful that dia pun bukan yang macam bukan seorang yang fussy, bukan yang macam perlukan everything complete and simple lah. He's a simple guy, alhamdulillah. So I manage the 2 kids masa daripada kecil lah, because I still am a full time taking care of them by myself. Kita tak pernah ada maid. So urusan dia daripada kecil tu hantar pergi mana-mana, and then bila nak hantar pergi mana-mana, of course I get the information. Okay, kalau pergi sini, how much will it cost? What is the program? And then I go share dengan my husband. Okay, this is how much will it cost? This is the schedule like. And then he will ask, will it involve him? Because yalah, adakah perlu dia boleh ke macam contoh kalau hantar mungkin tak boleh. Mungkin kalau pick up after work dia boleh pick up. So we will see lah macam mana, ataupun adakah program tu pada hujung minggu. So kalau pada hujung minggu, of course lah boleh. And then kalau hujung minggu tu adakah macam lain-lain, yang kakak pergi sini, adik pergi sini, yang memerlukan like both of us to drive them separately. So the decision tu, of course it's still a combined decision, tapi I choose what we want to consider. So I dah tapis siap-siap lah, I dah filter. Oh okay, ini nampak macam bagus, I setuju, I sanggup. And then only present lah to my husband. Okay, this is it. This is how much it costs. I think this is it. So macam agent lah. And okay, do the presentation. Okay.
Agent tanpa commission.
Apa pula tak ada? Mestilah ada.
Ada. Okay, see? Itu menjadi pendorong.
Ada. Ayah itu pendorong. Ada. Alhamdulillah ada. So compensated nicely. Okay. So I think because I'm being frank as well, there are times that things are hard. Susah kan, macam parking ke, timing wise semua. It's a full day, so macam sangat busy apa semua. So I'm very grateful that my husband is so far been very understanding. And in fact, last week kan I balik KL untuk join a workshop with you guys kan. I was in KL for 4 days, and dia terpaksalah menggantikan saya, manager anak-anak ni. Tapi dalam masa yang sama dia perlu work from home, so masih lagi perlu join all the online meetings. So he said that it was very very hard. So I never said that it was easy. I never made it look easy as well. But yeah, it was definitely hard. And then cumanya I think because I don't know, I'm quite an unstructured person. So kadang-kadang kesian kat anak-anak yang they are autistic, so they love this structure. And then bila ada mak dia yang macam suka tu, macam saya cakap, suka sangat nak challenge anak punya flexibility, because mak sendiri like unstructured. So somehow they they develop and improve together lah. I'm trying to be more structured. They are trying to be more flexible. And then there are also times that macam if they say no, and then that means no. And then the same thing as if they come to me and I say no, I don't want to do this, but they want to do it. So it somehow ikut lah. Like cannot be anak-anak je menang. Sometimes mak pun nak menang juga. And mendorong apa lagi? I think kesabaran to be this because I understand ramai je parents or mother yang rasa macam nak give up, rasa macam this is a lot, and having to make decision like at least once a year tu untuk school kan, you nak continue with the program ke tak, and then macam bila anak tak sihat then you have to replace dia punya session kan, so you have to decide okay session ni okay ke tak, and then the relationship that you have to build with the teachers, with the therapists, it push you to be, I'm not saying friendly, how do you say, you have to be friendly, of course you have to be friendly, but macam ni
invested kan?
Yeah, invested, and you have to show you're passionate. You have to show that you want to be supported by the school. You have to show your support as well, because
so you have to do
people.
Commitment too. Memang commitment is both ways.
And you cannot fake it. Because if you fake it, people would know it. People can, even the kids would feel it if we fake it. And kita pun sebenarnya tak ikhlas kan, macam tak memberi impact yang sama kalau kita ikhlas. So I think pendorong ni, I'm happy that my husband, we are good communicator. We communicate lah. We communicate a lot. We say and share whatever that happens. Like, okay, this is what happened, because we cannot do things together every time.
Yeah.
It's always like, okay, you do this, I do this. You know, dia tak boleh nak buat bersama-sama. And then bila kita cakap pasal co-regulator pun, I need him to co-regulate me as well. And he also, there are times that he needs to co-regulate the kids because I'm too tired. I'm like, no, please handle this. Kan? So, kita tadi kan, we talk about how we learn. We learn a lot all this throughout like more than 10 years ni kita belajar. But being the one who attended all these workshops, being the one who befriended all these fellow parents also means that we have to come back home and share whatever we learn to our partner. So itu pun menjadi pendorong. I mean, bila balik and cerita, he macam validate balik lah, and can see the value of it rather than macam buat apa BKL, belajar apa yang belajar. Adalah things yang valuable yang memang sama-sama boleh practice. So it's very important for the team, our children's team kan, macam Afia, Amy, the team is mama and daddy, and then Hiraf punya team, Hans punya team kan. The team to be on the same page, although playing different roles, but have the same objectives. Because we don't need everybody to drive the kids around. We don't need everybody to prepare the social story. So we play our own roles lah in this. Does that answer the questions?
It does. So for me, I think it's a little bit of yang menjadi pendorong adalah as Desiree started off with this episode adalah little improvements that we see. Itu asyik menjadi pendorong kepada kami untuk mempunyai satu matlamat just to see a bit of improvement, because sometimes that bit is huge in a neurodiversity world. And at other times, when it becomes such a big leap, you sometimes don't realize it, and then when you look back, you're like, oh yeah, macam Didi kata tadi bila nak pergi potong rambut. Oh, I remember the struggles we used to have initially with Nirav. Sekarang dia boleh pergi sendiri, boleh choose dia akan point that number, I want that hairstyle, and dia boleh beratur, dia boleh buat sendiri, bayar sendiri, balik. So macam it's such a progression that we don't know when that happened, but it was gradual. So benda-benda macam ni menjadi pendorong. Yang menjadi penghalang adalah certain places yang kita pergi yang mungkin tidak memberi vibe yang betul. I don't even know how to use that word in bahasa. Some places with the vibes that this is not going to be a growth thing also juga menjadi penghalang. And as co-regulators, as long as the child has a team behind it, as Didi said, it's the team is going to look out for the child and do something better. So we're going to tie this all together. What started off as a chit-chat episode of our journey, what we do the same as of when we first started, to what we do now, to the quality that we as a parent of a neurodivergent feel that we have gained from our journey, to now analysing what works and what doesn't work, apa menjadi penghalang dan apa menjadi pendorong. Our idea was to get all parents thinking, to know that we are all not perfect. This journey is still an evolving one. Kita sebagai parent tak bolehlah kecil hati kalau development tu atau perkembangan anak kita itu tidak mengikut KPI. Sebab dengan anak neurodivergent, seperti mana kami selalu cakap, janganlah menggunakan KPI neurotypical, jangan menggunakan KPI yang orang lain akan set untuk anak kita. Kita buat sendiri, kita buat dengan fasa yang berterusan dan menggunakan teknik-teknik. Dan our journey is to inspire, to say let's keep going, and there's some things you're going to have to do all your life, and that is just with that. Any last words, Didi?
Well, kepada parents neurodivergent, whatever, not just OKU, also yang tidak dikira sebagai OKU, things memang susah lah sebab dunia ni at the moment set up for neurotypicals, set up untuk mereka yang sempurna fizikal, dan untuk mendapatkan kemudahan untuk anak-anak kita yang neurodivergent, yang OKU memang terhad. Tetapi kalau kita tidak bersuara, tidak menyokong usaha-usaha mereka yang menjadi advocate, suara-suara ni tidak akan menjadi lebih kuat daripada apa yang sekarang. Sebab kita perlukan suara yang lebih besar, lebih kuat, dan suara yang tidak terhenti daripada sepanjang masa lah, supaya kita dapat memberi tekanan kepada mereka yang membuat dasar supaya tidak lupa kepada anak-anak kita ni.
Desiree, any last words?
I think tadi Desiree share terlebih share tentang menjadi penghalang, tapi not so much on pendorong. I think in terms of menjadi pendorong, salah satu kualiti yang sangat penting dalam setiap orang, tak kira lah anak kita neurotypical ke neurodivergent, ialah kesedaran kendiri or your self-awareness, kan? Because I think it's very important to be aware that kita ni bukan perfect. Tiada sesiapa pun sempurna. And we are not like faultless. Tapi kita kena sedar bila dah, bila dah sedar menjadi penghalang. So like I had that aha moment that okay, I am actually restricting his communication. Kan? Do something about it. And sekiranya rasa berkeseorangan, it's okay sometimes to want to be alone for a while, tapi jangan selama-lamanya. Find your tribe, find the people that going to support you, and menjadi, sometimes some of us perlukan pendorong untuk kita menjadi pendorong kepada anak kita. So that's my point. Find your tribe. And if I can just take an extra minute to share tentang seseorang, saya bertemu dekat KLCC ketika kita buat the live recording at Smile, Sleep and Breathe. This lady came to me after the session dan dia merupakan adik atau kakak dia. Dia seorang anak yang neurodivergent, and this sister has gone all out of her way to do all sorts of research to support her a sibling. Tetapi she confided and said the sister is not ready. Dia nak protect anak dia yang neurodivergent. So anak dia tak bergaul dengan anak orang lain, dan this parent does not have any other parent friends who have neurodivergent kids. So the first thing I did was to thank this young lady. Sebagai seorang adik atau kakak, she has gone way above and beyond. Dia dah research all the support groups and whatnot. She came, she knows about our podcast. She came, she met with us, she talked to us. And I know I just had to touch on her shoulder and say, you know, you have done your best, tetapi your sister needs to be with people who are in the same boat. Bukan yang you tak boleh tolong dia. You can and you have, tapi she needs to hear it from someone in that same boat. You know, because being a parent and being an aunt is different. Not that both very equally important, I must say, but it's different. So, carilah. So the point is, this girl is being a pendorong to her sister, and I hope that when she's ready, she will step out and find her tribe. Yeah, sorry, my conclusion dipanjangkan sedikit.
Hey, that brought tears to my eyes because there are many people yang nak menjadi pendorong. So for me, I think I'm just going to conclude this episode by saying I'm very grateful for Kita Family. My pendorong to jadi podcaster baby, kan?
2 years.
Yes, 2 years and hopefully more with growing following. We are on Spotify. We are on YouTube. We are also on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Like, share, subscribe. There is no end to our growth if you would like to hear more. So please be part of our pendorong so that our journey in neurodiversity continues to grow. We want to learn endlessly because we have been thrust into this without us asking for it, and we can only do this together. That's why Kita Family started, and that's why we will keep going. To end this episode, we would like to thank everybody who has been supporting us for the last 2 years, and we are very grateful for your support. Terima kasih kepada semua yang telah menyokong kami dan juga share klip kami dan juga memberi perkataan pendorong seperti Desri telah cerita tadi yang memang menjadikan saya sangat terharu. Begitu juga dengan Didi dan Desri. And we also speak for Kakak SK and Nuri who are not here with us today. All 5 of us would like to say a big thank you. Thank you very much again from episode 87 of Kita Family Podcast. Till we meet again. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.